It's showtime, according to all my alarms going off. And I am so thrilled to be here with a very special guest. But hang on, who am I? I am Suzanne Castle, creator and founder of the Sparkle Factor. And I'm in the middle of hosting this giveaway called the Dream Decide Rise. You need to remember those words because they directly affect the conversation we're about to have. Dream, decide, and rise. And I have pulled together 15 amazing boss babes who together we're all giving you a hand up this summer. So like I've said, if you've caught the last couple of these, this is not about slumpiness. This is not about the summer doldrums. This is not about like taking a break. This is for those of you that are like, holy crap, half the year is over, because it is, by the way. Have you checked your calendar? Half the year is over. I'm running towards December 31. I'm not where I want to be, and I need all the tools and all the things. So we've come together with over 5K of resources to help you do this job. And one of our featured contributors is the stunning, amazing Dr. K, so Kirstin Lauritzen, who is a functional medicine doctor, chiropractor, a performance coach for high-performing athletes like Olympians, people who run, 100-mile races, people climbing to Everest, all those kinds of things, and high-performing CEOs, meaning that those same principles that you use in a really high-training environment from the inside out directly affect your performance. And so she's here to talk to us, and I can't wait for you to get a course, but I'm going to zip it because I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. You just got off a plane. You're here with me. You honor me so much. Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm just so excited to be here, to get to share and all of those things.
It's gonna be awesome. So, all right. What is the connection? What is the thing? And by the way, if you're catching this live, like shoot us a comment. If you're catching it replay, use hashtag replay. I'll be monitoring it all day long, catching all the things. So what is kind of a key performance indicator that you look for between like someone that is, wants to jump out of airplanes, someone who wants to run 100 miles, someone who wants to swim forever and ever, someone who strives to be an Olympian, and someone who's running after something in a business from either an entrepreneur standpoint or like a boss person who's like, I'm doing this thing. What's a kind of key indicator you see among all of those?
Yeah. The biggest number one thing is someone who has a really, really big vision. They want to have an impact, create an impact. They, even if you wanted to put this from a perspective of an athlete, they have a vision of what they want to create. They have that goal. They have that way that they want to change or impact their own life or their family's lives. Oftentimes, they even have this sort of desire to be an inspiration to people, right? It's like they've got this drive and this ambition to make their life better, to make other people's lives better. And that's the thing that with so many high performers is it's really about what is it that they're wanting to create in this life? What are they wanting to do in this world? And inspiring people to also dream big and live to their highest possibility. And and I will say this too, it is also the people who also know that they're also going to need support along the way too. They know that they're a coachable person, right? There's someone that's like, I know I'm going to need to invest in myself. I know I'm going to need to invest in others because they're those few steps ahead of me, or they've got something that I know I need support in. It's that person who's realizing they've got this really big goal and vision of what they want to create, and they're also going to need some support along the way too.
I so love that. And I think, at least for me, what I find sometimes is that there's this kind of understanding, this hiccup, maybe this between, okay, I think I want to do a thing. And okay, I have like a roadmap, like I've got my list down, right? Got my goals, I've done the work. And then my health just takes a nosedive. And so then I just feel stuck. And I'm like, what just happened? What happened internally that just keeps, keeping me stuck? And I think there's a big connection. I will say Dr. K is my doctor, and she has helped me and is helping me currently kind of undergo a transformation from the inside out. And I think that you step in that place where a lot of people don't understand that connection. So what would you say if someone's watching this and they're like, I really don't understand the connection between like health and my goal getting?
Okay. Well, let's take it from this perspective. So if you are someone who is in charge of your own business and it's one person, or maybe you've got a team of people, maybe you have a big team of people, like you're a CEO who has hundreds of people that are, working underneath you, whichever level you're at, you need to make big decisions.
Right.
Often. most of the time. We're making decisions every single day. And yes, if you're the only one person in your business, maybe that doesn't have that big of an impact on you per se. Although I would argue that it might, right? Because depending on the types of decisions that you make, that is going to have a ripple effect on
Yeah.
what else comes into your sphere, right? If we don't show up fully in one space, well, we might lose out on some opportunities, on the flip side, right? Or if you're someone who's in charge of like a big, massive team and corporation almost, right? Where even in that sense, any decision you make can have a very, very large impact. We've got a lot of responsibility
Right.
when we take these leadership roles, whether it's the small or the large scale, right? Now, the thing is, though, is that those big decisions oftentimes, this is something that gets put off because nobody tends to think about it in this way.
Right.
But those big decisions oftentimes can be influenced by how you feel. So let's say I've got you, and as you mentioned, like let's say I'm not feeling well. Maybe I get a migraine on that day, or maybe I have a complete like energy like failure, right? And I'm just so fatigued, and or my autoimmune disease kicks up, or any of the above, right? Just not feeling 100% and well. And let's take that even a step further, not feeling like you're thriving
Yeah.
and having this vitality of like being able to enjoy your life and do the things you want to do. If you are in that space or not in that space, it will affect the way that you make those big life decisions, both in your life and in your business as well. And that is really where working and making sure that your health is in alignment with where you want to go, with that goal you want to bring to life, with that impact you want to have. Yes, we can be bigger than our current circumstances, but also what would it look like to have that optimal health so that, you know, every single day you're able to show up with a full on yes, and like I
Right.
am ready to tackle this day, I'm ready to achieve, I'm ready to show up in the way that the people in my life need me to show up today. What would that look like to have everything in both, the brain and the body 100% in going in that direction of where you want to go?
Yeah, that's a fascinating way to think about health, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I coach a lot of biz people, and and invariably I'll have a client, let's say 2 or 3 times a week, that's like, "Well, I didn't do my homework." And I'm like, "Okay, let's talk about that." There's some shame spiraling that happens, sometimes they want to cancel their appointment. And I think what for me though, what I say, you've even heard me say this, is the data will tell you everything, right? There's a reason why you didn't do it. So it's not I didn't get it done. It's not everything. It's not always like I did everything. It's that I'm going to do it all. I'm going to do some part of it all. And if I didn't do it, what did I learn? What did it tell me? So cuz I think that's where it's not just so I went back to bed and nothing's happening. It's okay. All right. Well, what made you go to bed? What did you eat? Did you get enough sleep? Like you have me kind of walking through a process every day that's like, what is the one thing that was off? Was it a dream and that's bugging you all day? Or does your knee hurt? I mean, but all of those things together can keep us stuck. And I don't know that there's a lot of people out in the marketplace, or at least I don't know of a lot of people who are doing the work like you're doing, which is really, I think of myself as a holistic coach with a W. So there's an alignment and action that has to happen, right? And I think you're coming alongside those in that same kind of holistic space saying, all right, this has to work, and like your actions have to work. Oh, and your gut has to work on top of it. Oh yeah, let's not forget about your sleep. I mean, and so there's just kind of, you're helping me see kind of a 360-degree view of how all of my actions contribute to health and my bottom line, basically.
Hmm. Absolutely. I mean, and ultimately, really, where I want to see people, where we take people, right, where I go with people is just what is it, where you want to go, what do you want to achieve, what do you want to bring to life, and then what is it that's holding you back from being able to bring that to life, whether that actually is something that's like a belief about yourself, like you can't do this, or like,
Mhm.
I'm not worth this, or I'm not
Right.
enough, down to also, let's think about then, if you hold those beliefs there, what is that doing on the flip side of like what's going on in your health too? Because oftentimes there's a lot of correlations, whether we see it in health, or we see it in relationships, or we see it in other areas
Right.
of our life. Those, if we're seeing it in one place, we may be seeing it in others. And that, you can take that a step further and say, well, like, if you don't believe that anything's ever worked for you, well, then what makes you think that anything else that go into is going to work for you either? It's just, this is the point. And in the opt-in that is available in this giveaway is really identifying what are those things, how are we showing up when we're going to a new physician, or to a new place to work on our health, or investing in that next doctor, or trying those supplements randomly that we saw on Instagram, right? Like, whatever that is, what are those things that are driving our choices and our actions and our habits of our everyday life? Like, all of those pieces matter. We've got to be taking all of those things into account when we've got this really big goal in mind.
So let's say, okay, someone's watching this on replay or whatever. And what is one hot tip that you could give them that would lead them to the course? Because here's what I would say, like, at Dream, Decide, Rise, right there, it's on the screen, and I'll also put just a hyperlink in the comments when we're done. But if you go there, you have a 10 module course, which is, I mean, I got to tell you, like, working with Dr. K is amazing, and her clientele is very small because she's very particular about who she takes. So it's kind of like having her alongside you with these 10 modules that really kind of help you understand, what do I need to be thinking about? How do I make decisions differently for my health? What does this mean for my success? So what would lead someone to say, yeah, I want that thing? Like, what's one tip that you could give that is just a little smattering of what they're going to find inside your course?
Oh, I mean, that's tricky because I cover a lot in
You
that
do.
video
It's
course.
so good. It's so meaty. I'm
Like, what's one thing? Okay. And this is coming from someone who has gone through chronic health things a good portion of my life. If there is one thing that is that constant piece of, whether it's fatigue, whether it's gut bloating, whether it's pain, whether it's migraines, whether it's also just like not feeling super good and like
Mhm.
wanting to feel better in your physical body, because you don't necessarily prioritize the like health things,
Right.
whatever it is of that flavor. In this course, really what I designed it to be is not more of the like, go take these pills, go take these supplements, go do these things, like drink your water, get a amount of sleep. Like, a lot of people know those things for the most part. Maybe you don't do them, but you know them most
Right.
likely.
Right.
But really, where this course is designed to take you is that next step of why a lot of those things oftentimes don't work, or where those blocks are, where those beliefs or those barriers are, to really get you on the same page as far as what else could be going on here with my health, and what else is it that maybe I'm not prioritizing it. Well, why? What is like, why are you not prioritizing it?
Right.
And that's what this course is really all about, is like taking it that deeper step, that deeper level, beyond like eat more healthy food and all those
Right.
things. Like, you can find that out on a Google search if you want, but this really is about getting to those deeper levels of actually why we don't manifest the health that we want, and the life that we want, and the business that we want. Like, that's what this course is really all about.
Well, and when you train athletes, I think the mental game, I'm just going to call it a mental game,
Yeah.
is just as important as the game. Whether they're, I don't care if they're a golf pro or if they're a great shopper. Like, doesn't matter what the sport is, right? The
Mhm.
mental game is absolutely key. And if your brain isn't activated, because we both work in NLP a lot, and so if your brain
Yeah.
is not activated, then it's not going to support you. Like, I mean, you can say you want one thing, but if you have cellular degradation, if you're not seeing possibilities, if you don't believe in yourself, if you're not doing the brain work, and you're not doing the gut work, the sleep work, whatever, then it doesn't matter, because any one of those things that goes off, that'll take you off your train all day long. So when
Yep.
somebody gets in that spot, Dr. K, what would you say? Like, what's one way to get that back? Like, what's one decision somebody could make right now and say, you know what, you're right. I'm sitting here, I'm watching this, and I feel like fill in the blank.
Oh, well, first off, go grab the course.
Yes.
Go
Go
sign
grab
up
this
for the
course. I'm going to
giveaway.
hook this back up. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, go sign up for the giveaway, because there's so many of these, even inside of that
Yes,
10
there
video
are.
course that I create, I have so many things. But one thing that you can absolutely do, like literally right now, if you're like none of these to-do things have been working for me. What's one mindset thing? This is actually one of my favorites. I want you to just take a minute to, and you can even journal this out later if you want, but take a minute to like take a deep breath, just center back into the present time right now. And I want you to think about, in other areas of my life where I have been successful, or where I have felt confident, or where I have created what I want. Think about what was going on in your head at that time. How are you feeling? Who are you showing up as, right? Were
Right.
you showing up as someone who was confident? Were you showing up as someone who was successful, or someone who was like, I've got this big dream, I've got this big goal, I'm going to cross that Ironman finish line. I don't know what that is for you, but is it believing in yourself? Is it, being calm? Is it being peaceful? Is it being joyful? Is it being loving, powerful? Whatever those things are, identifying at that time where you were who you were showing up as, and then mapping that over to this here, right? So because most likely somewhere in there is going to be like your magical juice of like, when you are like really like, because I know for me, when I'm so excited about something, that's when I'm the most powerful. Usually is like people
Yeah.
want to come along with me because I'm just so passionate and excited about what I've created, because I know it's going to be awesome, right? And it's going to have such a great impact. And so that when I'm in that place, that's usually where I'm really powerful. So it's the same thing for anyone who's just like, man, I'm just really feeling like, ugh, like this is just not working for me. This isn't happening. Take that step back first and identify what energy or what place or what feeling or who do you need to be
Right.
where you've most likely already been successful in your life in other areas. We just need to map that across a little bit. And then once you've gotten from that place, which I like also to dance or get some movement in,
Yeah.
or like, get that feeling in your body. And then now think about, okay, now what steps do I need to take? What sort of strategies, what
Right.
to-dos do I need to do? And then see if those results actually end up being a little bit different, because you're not projecting any of that like, other energy out into the world. Now you're projecting that energy of like, yes, like I've got this, I can do this, this is possible. This is like, if I don't show up, I'm like just like robbing this from the world, like this is
Right.
going to have such a big impact. People need this. It's showing up with that space and that energy, and I almost guarantee you the results are going to be different.
Well, so I'll tell on myself a little bit here, since
Sure.
you're my doctor and I feel like I'm in a safe space right now. So, um,
Okay.
I've been trying with Dr. K's help, trying to really amp up not only my water intake, because she let me know that I've been severely dehydrated probably for a really, really, really long time. Don't even know what it's like to be hydrated. So we've got that alongside, and I hate doing that because that just means I have to go to the bathroom all the time, and I hate that, right? Because it robs me of time, right?
Sure.
And alongside that, I'm supposed to be eating more protein. So what I've been trying to do is like, this is some of the work that you've helped me do, is for me to be my peak performance self, I have to be hydrated and have protein. So I went searching, and one of my new favorite things is I take collard greens and kale and spinach, and I add coconut water, super hydrating, to that, and some pineapple and 3 tablespoons of hemp hearts, because that's the protein. Now suddenly I am full. I've got energy. I'm also hydrated. My brain is rocking, and I don't ache so much. And so but I've been doing this for a couple months with Dr. K. So what I'm beginning to notice, because I'm writing things down and I'm noticing things more often, is, think about it in your own life. When you don't feel good, it's really hard to do big things. And when you're doing big things, if you don't feel good, it doesn't work. And so it's finding the one thing to try and then go, okay, is that working? Great, keep that. Now what's the next thing I need to do? And that's what I love about your work. I call it sleuthing, but you're like, well, let's just do this one thing. It's okay. Just do the one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do all the
Yeah.
things. Do a one thing. Let's see how that goes. Okay, now that's going good. Great. Good job, you. Now let's do another thing. And I think in your course, because 10 modules sounds like a lot, but what it is like, do this one thing. Great. You got that? Awesome. Now let's add something else. And so I love the way that it's like a micro course, because it's really broken down in these steps that really are achievable. It's not overwhelming, and it feels accessible, which I think is, when we're coming in the medical world, like you said, you WebMD yourself, and then you Google yourself, and then you're like, oh crap, myself, because like there's too much information and it's scary and it's contradicting. And what you do is, first, let's get your own internal voice aligned with what you're trying to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. And all of yep. It's really the person, and the reason why that's working for you now too, Suzanne, is because also everything else is in alignment with where you want to go too, right? So the body's going to be absorbing those nutrients better. It's going to be absorbing that hydration better. It's going to be
Right.
utilizing all of those nutrients in a different way too. So it doesn't always take a ton of things in order to, and I think that's the fallacy a little bit, right? Is
Yeah.
that it seems like it's going to be all of this stuff and take all of this time, and it's, being a healthy person is just like, you've got to have like all of this stuff that you
Right.
do, when in reality, like, it doesn't have to be. And really it's about that, like, maybe one or two things that you just haven't necessarily seen
Yep.
that, is just going to make that big of a difference. And
Yeah.
that's it.
And it's been huge. And I think it's like if I want to go get pizza, okay, go get pizza. I'm not
Yeah.
going to feel great, but like I got joy from eating that pizza that day. And then the next
Yeah.
day I'm like, yeah, I don't feel so good. So I'm going to get back on the train. I mean, there's so
Mhm.
many different ways of looking at this, and you're just magical about that. Okay. So before we get off, I want to be sure everybody's taking a look. Go to dreamdeciderise.site. When you put your email in, you'll have access to Dr. K's course, which is the peak performance course. It's 10 modules. It's completely complimentary. She valued it like $500. Let's be honest. It's worth $1,000. It's like having her right in front of you, walking you through step by step. Imagine having her for 10 weeks straight, reminding you for a week at a time. Here's the thing to try. Great. Here's the thing to try. Great. That's really what this is. It's really marvelous. And so I want you to be sure that you don't miss out. Okay. What last little bit of something would you leave everybody with? That's very
Mm,
nebulous. You can decide where you want to go with
that
it.
is very nebulous. On go after that dream. Go after that vision. I mean, whatever that is that you are here on this planet to do, whatever, in whatever way, shape, or form that like, rings true for you, go after it, and go after it just with just relentless passion, and like, bring it to life, because it's needed, because you deserve it, you're worthy of it. And also, like, we need people, we need everyone showing up
Right.
with the gifts that they've been given. This planet, this earth, this world would look so different if everyone was showing up in that way. So
Oh,
if
yeah.
there's any way that you are feeling held back, like, I don't know if I can do it, I don't know if this is, the thing for me, whatever that is, like, find what you need in order to get
Right.
over that, because I can guarantee you we need what you do. And so,
Love
um,
that.
that's all. That's what I would leave you with.
And that's the perfect way to end this, because the giveaway is literally called Dream. So, what is your biggest dream? How do you decide to activate that dream so that you can rise to success? And so,
Yeah.
Dr. K, you ran off a plane to do this. I am so grateful and honored. Not only are you support me, I think I'm going to see you in a couple of days, by the way. And then how you are living out your dream to really help people make health a priority so that their actions can match. And you honor me and everyone. And I thank you for your knowledge and your wisdom. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Truly, it was an honor.
Thanks. Okay, everybody, click the link. I'm going to drop it in the comments here in just a few minutes below. If you haven't yet activated that, if you've already gone in the Dream Decide Rise giveaway, still got access. So be sure and go in if you didn't check out her course yet. It's amazing, this peak performance. It's kind of the CEO way of looking at your health and your mindset, and it's fabulous. All right, we'll see you soon. Thank you, Dr. K.
Thank you.